We are recording. So guys, we have a super special treat for you tonight. Kristin is going to share what's working for her. And Kristin is the queen of sharing her vulnerability in her posts. And I love it. And I think it really helps her grow her business. And so she decided she wanted to talk on this tonight, just to hopefully give us all some new ideas for how we can open up and be vulnerable within our own posts. So Kristin, have at it, girl.
Sure. So I thought I would just start by telling you guys quickly my Beachbody journey and how I came about this. I've posted it 1,000 times, but for those of you that haven't seen it, I started doing Beachbody programs after my now 4.5-year-old was born. He was born at 31 weeks, and so he was in the NICU for 47 days. And when I was leaving the NICU, we weren't allowed to sleep there. And so every night when I was leaving, I would close his eyes and then rush out of the room. And I would make my husband tell me that he didn't see me leave him. So that, coupled with some serious postpartum depression and anxiety, I promised myself I was never, ever going to leave him. And I stuck to that pretty psychotically for about the first year of his life. And then I realized that I was a crazy person and I needed a break. But in the meantime, I was talking to my cousin about it and telling her that I couldn't go to the gym anymore. And she told me about this program that she had bought from an infomercial that was called the 21 Day Fix. And she is notorious for committing to something and quitting it. And so I took advantage of that and asked her if I could borrow it. And I don't think I ever even gave it back to her. And the rest was kind of history. I lost over 70 pounds using the 21 Day Fix. And then I think the next thing I did was maybe Core to Force and then P90X3. And really what I learned from that was a lot more about the nutrition than the working out. I'd always worked out and I always kind of enjoyed group fitness. But I would go to the gym and on the way home, I would stop and get donuts and eat 2 donuts on a Saturday morning. And I thought that was balanced. So I learned a ton doing that. But I was like hell-bent that I wasn't going to coach and that I didn't need shakes to lose weight. I thought that was bullshit. I wanted to eat my food and all of the things that we always hear. And then when 80 Day Obsession came out, I was kind of just in a funk. I was gaining weight. I wasn't like taking good care of myself. I had 2 really little kids and I was tired all the time. And I was just like, what the hell is going on in my life? I need something for me. I was getting really resentful toward my husband because I wasn't putting myself as a priority. And so when 80 Day Obsession came along, I decided I wanted to do it exactly the way that Autumn wrote it, following Time Nutrition and using all of the Beachbody performance line and everything. So that's when I reached out to Lisa and I was like, man, if I'm going to do it and I can make some money back, on my supplements and my shakes, I may as well. So that's when I decided to coach finally, 3 years later. So that's what got me here. I think that I don't know that vulnerability is my superpower by any means, but I do know that if you are not vulnerable with the people that you are asking to trust you, you are not going to build trust. So if you think about vulnerability, like when you first start dating someone, if you're dating somebody and you never open up to that person, you're never going to be able to take your relationship to that next level. There's no bricks to build that foundation for that relationship. And that's what vulnerability is all about. It's laying those bricks and making that connection between 2 people. So if you were dating your now boyfriend or partner, whoever, and you tell them some story about your life that feels vulnerable and the only response you get is, okay, you're going to be less likely to tell that story again or to put yourself out there again. And same, likewise, if he is telling you something that is risky and you don't reciprocate, there's going to be nothing to build that foundation. And so if you think about coaching, I think all of us know coaches that are outside of our organization. We all know, I can name probably 5 other people that I'm friends with on social media that are Beachbody coaches that are not in Elite Empire or Royal Republic or Dream Team. And I chose this team for a reason. And so if you think about that, when you're looking at why you chose your coach and your upline, what is it about that person that you connected with? If you're not putting yourself out there and sharing your true self and hiding behind your sweaty selfies, you're going to be a whole lot less likely to be able to tell your story and to connect to those people and grow your business. So I think that, I'm trying to remember, but I want to say that my first like big post after I shared that I was kind of taking this journey, I shared about how I went through a pretty difficult divorce and how I hated myself. And when I say hate, I don't know any other way to describe how low I was at a certain point in my life. And you guys, in my first full month of coaching, I hit Success Club 18. And I don't know that I've ever even done that again. But I think, I kind of came out of the gate with this attitude of like, if I'm going to do it, then F it. I am going big and I am sharing who I am. And I'm going to just put it out there and hopefully it resonates with people. And if it doesn't, those aren't my people. So I don't need to be talking to them. And if they don't like the message that I have to share, then that means they don't like me. And that's okay. Bless them, release them, and let them move on to a coach that they connect better with. But you guys, we are not just in the business of making money. And I think, we always talk about our why. And I think we think about our why about ourselves. Like, I coach because of my kids. I coach because I want extra income. I coach because it makes me proud. But you guys, any MLM, you guys could do anything. You all could be selling candles. You guys could be selling face wash. There's a reason that you guys were drawn to coaching, and that's because you want to help people, right? I would assume that's the number one reason that we all chose coaching instead of something else that would make money. Yeah, sure, the money is awesome, and it's nice to have an extra income, but that can't be all that it is. This is way too much work just to be like, oh, yay, I really feel like putting myself out there on social media, right? So if you think about that side of it, people want to connect with you. They don't want to connect with your product. If they wanted to connect to your product, they could connect to anybody else. And if you were only in this, if your whys were as surface level as, I want to do it for my kids and I want to do it for some extra income, you wouldn't be doing Beachbody. You'd be doing something way easier, right? Because everybody likes to wash their face or get their fancy mascara or whatever. In my opinion, I think that what makes Beachbody so much better, and I'm not slamming anybody else because I think everybody finds their place, but we are actually providing a service. You can't go and buy a fitness coach at a store. I mean, I guess you can, like at a gym, but you can't do that at Walmart. You can buy mascara at Walmart, right? Like, we are able to provide something that no other company can. So I think being able to connect to that is just so, so, so important. And think about too, like, I don't know if Lisa knows this. I think I maybe have told her this before, but I had a different coach before her. And we just did not click. Like, she was super nice. I liked her, but every one of her posts was a sweaty selfie or a picture of her meal. And guess what? I don't give a shit about your sweaty selfie in the picture of your dinner. I care about the tears that you shed because your workout was so freaking hard that you could hardly make it through. And I care about the fact that you were so rushed trying to get that meal on the table, but you did it because you want to make your family a priority and you want to make your health a priority. So sharing, you guys have to get deeper in your posts. Like, whatever you're thinking of right now, which I promise you guys have, like that thing that you're like, nope, I'm not putting it out there. I just can't do it, right? Whatever that is for you, that's exactly what's going to help you to connect to people. Because vulnerability is what builds trust, and that's what makes connections. And without that, people aren't going to come to you. So whatever's in your mind right now that you're thinking to yourself, like, oh man, that's the one piece of my story I'm just not quite ready to share, I can almost guarantee you that that's the piece of your story that's going to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. And I don't want you guys to think I'm saying, like, use your vulnerability and use your story as like a pity party, or, you don't want to share it just to get likes and comments. You want to share it because you know that it's going to make a difference for somebody. Like on the days where I post some vulnerable stuff, it has really and truly very little to do with Beachbody. It has to do with, I've seen somebody say something in my feed about being anxious or being sad or feeling like they're drowning. And I want to reach out to that person and say to them, I understand your pain. I have been there. I get it. And I will tell you guys that almost every single time I post one of those where it's like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm hitting it, I'm doing it. Almost every single time I get a private message from somebody that just says, I just want to thank you. You've spoken to me and it's really helped me through X, Y, or Z. I got 2 of those last night, and my post said nothing about coaching. It was really just about, I went from a person who truly couldn't look in the mirror without being disgusted, and not my physical self. That was all my heart and my soul that I didn't love. And now I'm at a place where I truly love who I am. To be able to share that with people and connect with people in that way is really amazing. So let me look at my notes real quick. I just made a couple quick notes. I think there's this misconception that vulnerability is weakness, that you put yourself out there, and sure, it's risky. Like there's always a risk that somebody's not going to like it. But if you think about the people that you love and that you care about, when they share with you something about themselves that makes them vulnerable, do you sit and think to yourself, oh, look at this weak person? No, of course not. You think to yourself, wow, what strength, what courage that person has to share their story. What a road they've battled. How fantastic to see them on the other side. You're not judging them. And if you are, I'm sad for you, but I don't think you are. But I really think that you're looking to that story and you're listening to them and you're connecting with them and thinking, wow, you're an amazing person. You've come so far. And so I think we, for some reason, think that our own vulnerability is weakness, but really it's strength. And we can identify that strength in everyone else, but we have a struggle with identifying it in ourselves. And yes, it's scary, guys. I'm not going to lie and tell you that when I post those things, I'm just like, oh, that was no big deal. Like I very clearly remember the first one I ever posted. I cried my entire drive to work thinking about what I was going to post. I sat at my desk and tried to get work done and was misty-eyed the entire day. I wrote it at my lunch break. I texted one of my best friends and was like, I just put myself out there in a way I cannot imagine. I'd never thought I would do. And she immediately texted me back and was like, that was the coolest thing I've ever read. And I got some of the best responses. And it just means a lot to know, like, your struggles have value. And I really feel like this journey, like being able to share everything that I've been through and using it for good, like being able to turn it into a business and being able to help people feel better about themselves, it gives meaning to it all. Like I referenced that I went through a pretty difficult divorce, and I don't share the details of that, not because I'm not comfortable sharing it, but out of respect for my ex-husband and for my current husband. I just don't feel like it's appropriate for me to put all that stuff out there because, there's a lot of people that I don't want to hurt in that process. But I share as much of it as I can without hurting people. And being able to do that, to share that, has been so healing for me. It's been more powerful than any of the therapy that I've paid for. So in a way, it's a little bit selfish that I use my vulnerability to make me heal, to help me feel whole again, and to be able to see that kind of come through on the other side. When you're going through something difficult, people always say, oh, it's all going to make sense one day and everything happens for a reason. And at the time you're like, that's such bullshit. Don't say that to me again. I'm going to kill you. And here I am, oh my God, I've been divorced for 10 years, but 10 years later, I'm like, oh yeah, yep. It all makes sense. There's a purpose and there's a reason that I've been through the things that I've been through, and being able to share that and connect with people has made a positive impact. And so if those people that reach out to me and comment and never say, if those people that say, you've inspired me, or thank you for sharing because I've been anxious too. If they never become customers of mine, I don't care. I so appreciate their support, and I really appreciate that connection. And so to me, that's more valuable than any Success Club point or trip, although all that other stuff is pretty nice. So I think that's what I got. I guess my challenge for you guys is to really think about your why, because your why is so much deeper than what you guys think. I think there's a whole lot more to each and every one of us, and a whole lot more to each of our stories that we're just afraid to share. And so just spend some time thinking about what is that piece of you that you're afraid to put out there, and why are you afraid? What's holding you back? And if you can let go of that fear and share that and find a way to connect with people with that, I really think that that is a challenge that each of you guys could use to help not just grow your business, but grow yourselves as people, to really see how positive vulnerability can be. And if anybody is looking for a good personal development book, Brene Brown is a social worker. She's a doctor of social work, I think. She's a doctor of something. And she does a lot of research about vulnerability. And so she's written Daring Greatly, Dare to Lead, something else. I don't know. I'll look them up and put them in the Facebook thread. But she has some really amazing books. So if any of you guys out there are kind of struggling with that connecting to vulnerability, I would recommend Brene Brown all the way. And that's all I got.
So good.
Thanks.
I love it. I'm going to let you guys talk if you have anything, but I want to say just a couple things. I think, Kristin, what you do a really good job of is not only sharing the things you go through, like the anxiety and like who you used to beat yourself up. You know, you try to be this perfectionist. Like, I know exactly who you are because you tell the story over and over through your posting, but you also bring in the things that you do now that are helping you and that have changed you. And so I think you do a really good job of storytelling and, you know, really letting people into who you are and how you've changed. And I myself need to work on that more too. I feel like I do a lot of surface level posting, and you know, sometimes just need to like open the can of worms.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, like thinking about what people's pain points are. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I want to lose a couple pounds, or I wish I had more energy, but like, wow, my marriage is struggling because I'm so resentful that I don't have time to myself. That kind of shit. Like the real deal where you're getting in it and you're just speaking, you know, think about who you were before you started Beachbody and talk to that person. You know, talk about the things that you hated about yourself, or if you didn't hate it. I hope none of you guys hated yourselves, but you know what I mean. Really connect to the struggle.
Anybody else want to chime in? I have another point too. I was taking like crazy notes, but I think where a lot of us get hung up too is like, it's kind of that mission versus our vision. And like, it's okay to have a grandiose vision for your family, for your life. And because I do, and like, I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to create that. But my vision is different than my mission, you know? And I think sometimes we get those confused. And so just being clear that like your mission is to help people live healthy and fulfilling lives. That's, you know, the mission statement of our company, whether that's through their health or fitness, their financial freedom, whatever that may be, you know, but like we are all here to help people become the best versions of themselves. Whereas we all still have a vision of creating what we want for our own lives and for our families too. So you can have both. You just have to be able to relate to people. And like you said, you know, finding people that you connect with, or finding people that connect with you based on the story you're telling, you know. And if your storytelling is very surface level, it's going to take you a lot longer to really build, you know, trust, relationships, customers, clients, and coaches. All right, I'm done. Who wants to talk? Go, Janet. Anyone have anything?
I thought it was awesome. I think you're absolutely right on all of it. When I've shared anything like those kind of details of my life, I've also gotten people responding to me even privately, and that just makes you feel good. And I think when you get the momentum going, like you said, it's scary to put it out there, but you really realize how many people are watching you that don't ever even like your post, but they'll send you a message. They're obviously seeing it. And I built relationships that way too. So
That's awesome.
Yes. So I challenge you guys to like think about it and to brainstorm and figure out like what is that vulnerability that you need to share. And like Kristin said, it doesn't have to be like your deepest, darkest secret, but what is something that you struggle with that people may not know? You know, like I know there's a handful of things that I could name to you right now that I probably should post about. I mean, the mere fact that I feel like I scream at my kids all day long, you know, but I seem like a happy-go-lucky mom most of the time on social media, but truth is I'm mostly yelling at my children, you know? So, you know, really just diving a little bit deeper to relate to what the majority of the population is going through, you know? I know I personally can do a better job of that.
I also yell at my children all day, every day.
Okay.
I struggle with just getting like a picture of that to put on social media. It's like, you know, like you're going through it and trying to figure out where to put your phone to capture a picture of that, and, you know, a 3-second timer without staging it with your own kids, which I've done just to make a point on social media. But yeah, you're right, Lisa. You should share that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
You could always post a picture of yourself hiding in your closet, which I have done.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, because that's sometimes what I have to do just to keep from getting CPS called on me.
What else? Anybody else have anything to add or questions for Kristin? No? Kristin, I'm so glad you chose this topic, and that I'm super excited like for the whole month that we're going to have different speakers and people are going to share a little bit more about what they're doing, because I think it definitely helps, especially newer coaches too, kind of see what other people are doing to move their businesses. So I challenge you guys, if you haven't looked at Kristin's social media, to go check it out just to see kind of how she tells her story and how she kind of goes from her morning workouts, and then she has a struggle that she shares, and then she, you know, she just kind of intertwines everything together as far as what she's going through versus how she's better because of what she does, you know? And I love that it all just kind of flows that way.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else? Anybody want to add? Everybody's quiet. No? All right. Well, thank you, Kristin.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
We are going to have 3 more speakers the rest of the month, and make sure you guys tune in or at least check into the team page if you can remember once a day, because I'm going to try to post something in there once a day, whether it's a tip, whether it's a call, whether it's a, you know, accountability post, whether it's a prize up for grabs. Just try to check in, because I did a live video today if you haven't checked it out, but I think this is our month to really kind of work together, push hard, and like for the first time, we have so many people going to Summit, and I think it's going to be so awesome that we're all there together and get to celebrate. So get pumped, because we're eating Mexican food and margaritas, except Allison. She's out. All right, guys. Anything else for the good? I'm going to stop our recording.